Just like that, the first half of the college hockey season is in the books, and just like last year, North Dakota is in the driver's seat in the race for the Penrose Cup. Welcome to North Dakota Hockey Central, your television home for all things UND hockey. I'm Alex Heinert. On this week's show, we'll look back over the Fighting Hawks' final series of 2021 with Brad Berry. Plus, we'll get Brad Schlossman's take on how impressive the opening 3 months of the season have been for the 8-time national champions. First, though, we are proud to present some of the best moments this program has offered up this fall as we revisit North Dakota's best of the first half.
Each year brings a new opportunity, and really excited about the year ahead with this group.
We are underway here from the route. Back to Schmaltz in the back of the net. Power play goal for Jake Schmaltz, his second of the night. Make it two for Ashton Calder. Frisch again in the back of the net. On the power play. 2-on-none. Caulfield. Costantini. Matteo Costantini lights the lamp. And North Dakota strikes first.
Got to play the way you want to play, and that's a physical brand of hockey.
Gaber once again lining one up and finding the back of the net. Reese Gaber on the power play opens things up for North Dakota. Jamernick onside to Senden. Mark Senden, the captain, on the power play, makes it 2-0. Great find in front. What a save by Driscoll.
What a save by Zach Driscoll, kicking that right foot out.
Watch the speed now of the sophomore. Sanderson coming in! Jake Sanderson! Get used to it, NCAA hockey! And here is Tyler Clevin. Boom! Calder finding Booty in front. Brendan Booty. Gomisto checked hard by Senden. Jamernick in the back of the net. Second in the game for the sophomore centerman. And North Dakota is going to go home with all 3 points this evening.
Super proud of our guys just because of the character in our locker room, and our guys believe in each other. They work extremely hard, and it doesn't matter who's in the lineup. Love these guys, man. They'll do anything for you, and I think that's part of our culture is when you recruit to North Dakota, they're not only have to be excellent hockey players, they got to be outstanding people, and we got a whole room full of them.
Always fun to look back over what's been another great start to the year for the top program in college hockey. Speaking of, the man in charge of said program will join us on the other side of this break to look back over a pair of wins in the Rockies for his team this past weekend. Brad Berry stops by next here on North Dakota Hockey Central. back to North Dakota Hockey Central. It's time now to catch up with head coach Brad Berry, who joins us from inside Ralph Engelstad Arena after a successful trip to Colorado Springs. Brad, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely, Alex. Great to be here.
You completed your last series of 2021 this past weekend against Colorado College at the Tigers' new on-campus rink. I got to ask, what were your impressions of Robson Arena on your first visit?
Yeah, it was a very nice facility, obviously brand new and modern, and just opened up here a few months ago. And you know, we went in there with the expectations of it being a nice building, and it surely was. And kind of really admired, you know, the NHL-sized rink. Big adjustment to World Arena, where it was an Olympic-sized sheet, and it's nice to be back on the NHL-sized sheet. And also the sight lines of the fans. I thought they had great attendance there on Friday night, and the fans are right on top of you. The sight lines are really good there at Robson Arena.
You commemorated your first game in Robson with a different jersey combination than we're used to seeing on a Friday night. Why the business suits in both games last weekend?
Well, I guess number one, we've had pretty good success in the blacks on Saturday nights, and you know, us on Fridays, the last 3 weekends of not trying to get a result. So a combination of both, of trying to maybe having that mentality or that, I guess you could say, luck of the jersey on Friday night there. And our guys' ears perked up when they saw him in the locker room when they walked in before the game, and you know, it kind of made mention of us on how we wanted to do things, and I thought they played pretty well.
No, I would agree. Yeah, the Tigers would score first early in game one, but you'd respond with 2 goals of your own in that first period and would dominate proceedings the rest of the way. How did your team take control after the opening 10 minutes?
Yeah, well, again, we gave up an early goal, and I liked our response, our pushback right away. You know, the Jamernick line got us back on the board again not too long after we gave up that goal, and then we ended up getting a power play goal shortly thereafter. So, you know, we answered back with a good response and with a couple of goals, and you know, we didn't get unfazed. We gave up one late in the first period, in the last minute of the first period, and came back in the locker room, got reset and readjusted, and I thought our second period was probably one of our best periods on the road this weekend.
You would go on to score 4 unanswered and claim a 5-2 win on Friday. 2 of your goals came on the power play, which went 2 for 3 in night one, and then scored also on Saturday as well. What did you like from that unit all weekend long against the Tigers?
Yeah, well, I thought, you know, in order to win games in not only the NCHC but college hockey in general, your specialty teams have to be sharp. And, you know, I thought we were just okay in the previous 3 weekends on both, and I thought we were really sharp on both power play and penalty kill units this past weekend. And it was pretty indicative on Friday, you know, when we scored a couple power play goals and we didn't give up any power play against. So we won the special teams battle there. So again, it's a situation when, especially when you're on the road, you have to win that battle of power play penalty kill, and we did.
Zach Driscoll played well in game number 1, but for the first time this season, you went with another goaltender the following night. What went into the decision to give freshman Jacob Helston his first career start in game number 2? Well,
first of all, we think we have 2 pretty good goaltenders that can you know, be very good and able to play and be productive in our goal. And you know, with Zach Driscoll coming in as an experienced young man, you know, obviously he shoulders most of the starts, you know, in our group. But Jacob Helston has done a great job of practicing the way that we want him to do. He's been sharp in practice. His body of work overseas of playing junior hockey is excellent, and we needed for him to get into a regular season start for us going into it. So we had this counted in or factored in earlier on to get him a start, and this was the one that we wanted. And I thought he was outstanding. He was sharp, not only saving the puck, but moving pucks and breaking out pucks with our defensemen.
Yeah, the numbers prove that. Helston would go on to stop 23 of the 24 shots he faced in a game that didn't have much flow and featured a lot of whistles. Still, your team found a way to grind out the 4-1 win, even without a number of regulars in the lineup.
Yeah, for sure, and that was the beauty of it. You know, we had guys like Jake Sanderson, Ashton, Calder, Mark Senden out of our lineup, so we've had some pretty good players that count on a lot of minutes in our games. And you know, for Jacob to go in, everybody had to man up and you know, obviously play extra hard for him to make sure that, you know, they didn't get any free looks. And you know, we did give up one early on our PK, but I thought our guys really battened down the hatches and did a good job of boxing out players and blocking shots to help him see the puck. But in saying that, he did have to make some, you know, they made a charge in the third. They made a press push in the third, and he had to make some good saves in the third period when counted upon. So he looked like an experienced goaltender in that. He didn't look nervous at all, and I thought he did a really good job.
Louis Jamernick was one of those who stepped up for his goalie this weekend as he scored the game-tying goal both nights and added an empty netter on Saturday. It's easy to forget that he is just finishing his second semester in college hockey after joining the team last January, Brad.
Yeah, no, I think he's done an outstanding job. You know, he's been put in a bunch of different situations. Him coming in about this time last year, you know, with not knowing what college hockey is all about, he's really, you know, stepped up his game exponentially and been put in a bunch of different situations. And now, especially with key guys out of our lineup in the forward position, he's really been counted upon heavily. So we're proud of him and knowing that we have him for a long time ahead here within our group.
Jamernick played a more prominent role with Mark Senden sidelined for Game 2. As you mentioned, Jake Sanderson and Ashton Calder also missed the trip. What can you tell us about their status now moving forward?
Yeah, well, Ashton will be back in our lineup here once the Christmas break ends. You know, obviously he was nursing an injury here, and you know he was getting close to being back, so he'll be back for the second half starting on Jan 1. And Mark Senden will be as well. You know, he's just had a couple of nagging injuries there that didn't permit him to play on Saturday in CC, but he'll be back Jan 1 again. And then, you know, Jake Sanderson, you know, he had a lower body injury there that he'll be back in the second half as well, but he is at World Juniors, him along with Tyler Clevin, and we're hopefully getting back for the Cornell series.
Good news on those three. Now the rest of your group have a break before you'll play a New Year's Day exhibition against the NTDP. What's the plan for you, the staff, and the team between now and then?
Take a breath, reset. You know, I think we're maybe one of the rarer few college hockey programs that went every weekend. We didn't have a weekend off, and a lot of programs had 1 or 2 weekends off to reset a little bit and get healthy and just take a breath. And we really haven't done that. We've made a push since the end of August till now, and you know, I think physically and mentally we need that break. You know, to get guys healthy, to get revitalized, re-energized for the second half. We're really looking forward to the second half of the season. We know what we did in the first half, and we're happy with what we did, but we're not complacent in the fact that that's good enough. We need to get better, and we need to keep moving forward and keep where we are in the standings here.
You mentioned the efforts in the first half. You're 8-2 in the league and in first place despite already playing Denver, Duluth, and St. Cloud. Some expected you to take a step back this year from the heights you've hit the last 2 seasons, but you've not done so. What's been the biggest reason for this team's success?
Because we're North Dakota. Because each and every year there's high expectations from our coaching staff and players, high expectations from our fans, and it's the accountability within us. Like everybody knows, like there's an obligation. When you step foot in the Ralph Ingolstadt Arena, you got to bring your best. And I know that we've lost, you know, 8 players to the NHL, you know, signing contracts. We've lost 14 players over our last group last year, but we've got some great key pieces here. 13 returners that are outstanding players and people. We've got 14 new players that are embedded in our group that know how we play and what our expectations are. So even though that we know it's a new year with a lot of new faces, expectations are always high, and that's the beauty of North Dakota. When you sign up to play here or be part of our program, those are those expectations. You have to bring it every day.
Yeah, well, it has been impressive to see this group bring it and see them come together over the first 3 months of the year. Much more to come in 2022. Congrats again on a great first half, Brad. Enjoy the holidays with your family, and we'll see you in the new year.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. Merry Christmas and have great holidays to you and your family and also the Midco family.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you, Brad. We will continue our look back over the first half of the season with the thoughts of someone who knows this program inside and out. A conversation with Brad Schlossman is on deck when North Dakota Hockey Central continues. Welcome back. The first half of North Dakota's 2021-2022 season is now in the books, and who better to review it than Grand Forks Herald beat writer Brad Schlossman. Brad joined me earlier to give a little more context to what we've seen through the first 3 months of this year. Here's that conversation. Brad, it's been a really impressive start to this 2021-2022 season for North Dakota. Are you surprised that this team is where they are at this point in the season?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of thought coming into the year with so many new guys, you got 14 new guys, that takes time. You lost 8 guys on NHL deals, the entire first line, 2/3 of the second line, your third line center, your top defensive pair, and both goaltenders. All tremendous players. And in college hockey, you can't just lose guys of that caliber and just keep going. It just never happens. And I thought this was a first half that was going to have some ups and downs. It was going to take a while, and the big key for this team was going to be to tread water in the first half. and get it to a spot where you can be in a good enough spot to make a run in the second half. I did not see them. I would say being up 6 points in the league standings is doing far more than treading water. I did not see that. And then on top of it, you add the schedule that they had to play with all these new guys. You nationally ranked Bemidji State, Quinnipiac, Minnesota Duluth, Minnesota, St. Cloud, Denver. I mean, the schedule's been just brutal, really. And for them to come out the way they have is, I didn't think they would be at this point.
So you mentioned how difficult the schedule has been, how they've incorporated all these new pieces. How have they been able to overcome all those things and be at this place right now as we move into Christmas?
To me, the big key and the big question coming into the season was the transfers. They needed their transfers to be good. And you can't rely on all these new freshmen. You need your guys who have played college hockey to come in and be good. And I think they've all exceeded expectations. Connor Ford has been so valuable. He's almost at a point per game, and that doesn't even begin to describe the value he has to this team. Ashton Calder is a point per game guy. Did not think he would be a point per game guy coming over. Chris Jandrick's been a legit top four. Brady Ferner is a guy who's played more games than I thought he would all season. And he's been really reliable. And Zach Driscoll's kind of the one guy we knew what they had coming in. He had played at Bemidji State. He had played all these teams every single year. So we had a pretty good idea of what he was. But up front, I would say those guys have been really good.
If you were going to pick a team MVP for the first half of the season, that's a hard question. Who would you single out?
Well, I mean, I think it's got to be Jake Sanderson. What he's doing, we almost take for granted. It's like, oh yeah, of course he has 1.25 points per game. Yeah, that's kind of what we expected. And then you start looking at historical statistics, and he is ahead of the pace in points per game that Cale McCarr did in his Hobie year, ahead of the pace of Will Butcher, ahead of the pace of Scott Perunovich. That is pretty special. And when you add the way that he can defend and break pucks out of his own end, UND fans are seeing a really special player play back there, and he's another reason why they've been so good the first half. He's my first half MVP.
Yeah, he's a game changer. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes.
Now the big question is, they get a break, and then the second half begins, and it's a difficult second half schedule, just like the first half was. I think 7 of the 8 series against nationally ranked teams. Can they keep this up, Brad?
I think so. I think the thing when you're looking at this team's first half performance, you don't look at it and say every single thing went right. No, there's a lot of things they're going to be better at. Like I think their penalty kill wasn't great in the first half. I think that'll be better. There's some guys who went on point droughts, like Judd Caulfield doesn't have a point in 10 games. That's not going to last. He's going to have a really good second half. They've had key guys out with injuries. They're going to have some guys back. And the other thing is we're just starting to see the freshmen emerge. A lot of times you see that come along in the second half. UND has the largest freshman class in the NCHC. And I think some of those guys are going to come along in the second half. So I think that's got to be the exciting part for UND, is that they didn't play a perfect first half, and they're still there. And there's areas where they're very likely going to be better in the second half.
Good stuff as always from one of the top college hockey minds in the country. Brad and the team he covers will have a little downtime over the holidays, but things will certainly pick up once the calendar flips. We will show you what's next for UND in the second half of the season when North Dakota Hockey Central returns. Let's get you up to speed now on the latest news around college hockey, starting with the newly rebranded DCU-USCHO.com poll. In a bit of a departure from what we've seen lately, the top 4 are unchanged from last week, as Minnesota State and Quinnipiac both earned sweeps, while Michigan and Western have to settle for splits. North Dakota moves up 2 spots to number 5, their highest ranking so far this season. Just shy of the halfway point in the NCHC year, UND has a 6-point advantage over their closest competition in the Penrose Cup standings. The rest of the league has played 2 fewer games than North Dakota and Western, but UND also has the best point per game tally in the conference and would still have an advantage in the standings even if third place Denver or anybody else were to win both of their games in hand. The conference portion of 2021 is now over as North Dakota and every other team in the NCHC minus Colorado College is off until after Christmas. The break is the first of the season for UND, and it is one this team is ready for.
I thought it was a great first half there. We're right where we want to be in the NCHC and also like in the pairwise rankings, and I feel like the team's really bonded together well. We got a lot of new guys coming in, so there's some question kind of like if we were going to be able to have the success we've had over the past few years, and I think we just done a great job as a team, just bonding together and just being there for each other when things aren't going our way. There's been a lot of rough nights, like a couple of Fridays where we didn't play our best, and really came back on Saturdays, and that's kind of what it's all about, just kind of trusting each other, knowing what we got as a team.
When North Dakota does return to action, they will do so in an exhibition setting on New Year's Day against the U.S. National Team Development Program. It will be a 2:30 p.m. matinee at the Ralph, and you can watch it live here on Midco Sports. That game begins an exciting and challenging second half for UND, as 7 of the 8 series for Bradbury's team will take place against nationally ranked opposition, including 4 meetings with number 4 Western Michigan and 4 more with number 14 Omaha. The regular season opens on the first full weekend of January against current number 9 Cornell of the ECAC. It all sets up for the winter of 2022 to be one to remember for North Dakota, and we will be here to cover it each week in the new year on North Dakota Hockey Central, beginning with our next show on January the 7th. Until then, on behalf of our Midco Sports crew, I'm Alex Heinert saying thank you for watching, have a happy and safe holidays, and I will see you at the Ralph in the new year.